Rock in with me. Lock in with me. Coming at you. Instagram Live at Sports Web CEO. Also, you can get the audio. Heat100radio.airtime.pro. Peep it. All right, people. You hear the intro. It's coming. I'm here. Got some good stuff for y'all today. Make sure you are locked in. Like I said, Instagram at SportsWeb CEO Live. You can't get everything. If you can't get the visuals and the audio, you can get the audio. Heat100radio.airtime.pro. My guy, Mikey, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to let this intro play for a little bit, y'all. It's been a while since I played my intro. I'm going to let it rock out for a little bit. All right, folks. Y'all heard that intro. It's been my intro for a while now. And I just had gotten away from playing it every episode. So I think I need to get back to that. That was like perfectly timed. So good afternoon, everybody. Once again, it is Monday. You know what it is. You know what we do. Shout outs already to my guy, Mikey on Mute Podcast, has joined the fray. All right. And guys, if you haven't checked him out yet, please go check out the Mikey on Mute podcast. All right, it's Mikey _on_MUTE_ podcast. All right, make sure you go check him out. Make sure you tell Sports Rap sent you. But he just brought up a good point, and I am going to get to that. I'm going to jump right to it. Brought up, you saw my post. Like I said, y'all always see my post, so you know what's on the agenda for the day. I got a little bit of Sixers stuff. And I got some Eagle stuff because we are in training camp. Football, I believe, today makes 39 days away, all right, before we can see some football. So, Mikey just brought in a point, great point. He said there are 2 Eagles in the 99 club in Madden. So that's a great thing. And for anybody that doesn't know, recently, within the last couple of years, these Madden ratings have become a thing, if you will, a big thing, if you will. So it's kind of good to see some Eagles as 99s in that Madden ranking. So that's a good thing. Thanks for bringing that up, Mikey. And I heard that, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was done. But, of course, I am a player, so I will be, of course, getting that game as well to see what updates are on there and how my Eagles look after winning the Super Bowl this past season. So you know what we do here, all right? I don't like to skip from my routine, but I had to put that in real quick, because Mikey came in and he brought it in. Good friend, podcast friend. So I had to add that in real quick. So, sports scores from yesterday. You had some WNBA scores, and we got some MLB baseball scores for you. All right. So, some baseball scores. I missed one score. I didn't get the Dodgers and the Red Sox score, but we don't care about that. I'm a Phillies fan anyway. But anyway, nonetheless, I'll give y'all that score once I get to it later on. Phillies, Yankees. Yankees take that game 4-3. The Rockies fall to the Orioles 5-1. The Diamondbacks get blanked by the Pirates 6-zip. The Blue Jays fall to the Tigers 10-4. The Rays fall to the Reds 2-1. The Cowboys get by the White Sox. Cowboys. See, I'm thinking football. The Cubs. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm thinking football already. And then there's 299s and Mad's got me kind of hyped. So apologies. All right. The Cubs and the White Sox. The Cubs take that 5-4. The A's get by the Astros 7-1. The Guardians fall to the Royals 4-1. The Marlins fall to the Brewers 3-2. The Nationals get by the Twins 7-2. The Padres beat the Cardinals 9-2. The Braves fall to the Rangers 8-1. Mariners fall to the Angels 4-1. And the Mets get by the Giants 5-3. In the WNBA yesterday, the Valkyries and the Sun take that 95-64. The Mercury get by the Mystics 88-72. The Fever get by the Sky 93-78. The Dream beat the Lynx 90-86. And the Aces get by the Wings 106-80. I will give you Major League Baseball and WNBA games for tonight later or before I fully close out of the show. Couple of news tidbits, if you will. Bryce Harper reportedly cursed out MLB commish Rob Manfred in a meeting. Didn't really get a lot of info on what that was about, but they surely made sure that they told us that Bryce Harper was the one that did the cursing out. Deion Sanders says he is cancer-free after having a bladder removal for a cancerous tumor. So good thing for Deion. Glad to see that he is getting his health in order, or his health is getting in order. He is getting better. And it's just good to see. You know, he's coach on the sideline, so you need that. And he's, let me see, he was a football icon, sports icon. So those are kind of guys that you like to see, you like to hear about do good. And then when they have situations, health issues and other issues, you always root for them to get well or do well or be well. Right? So hopefully this is the start of some new stuff for Deion, and he can continue to get better and continue to grow. So again, on the agenda today, big time on the agenda, like I said, I am going to talk some Eagles football because we are in the training camp, right? Like I said, I think today, pretty sure it's 39 days away from football. I cannot wait. I am excited for opening day for my Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, we all know we opened Thursday night as the most recently, in the last couple of years, Super Bowl champion always opens up on Thursday night, the first game of the season. Celebration. Get to drop that banner. We saw the rings already. The rings are really, really unique. For lack of a better term, crazy. Freaking amazing. I thought when I saw the Bucks championship ring that had the removable top that they could wear as a pendant was pretty sharp. Then I saw another ring, I think it was a Warriors or somebody, where the top came off and everything like that. But then the Eagles kind of took it a step above that with this ring that they have. And if you haven't seen it, you can Google it and check it out. But it's a button on the ring, and the wings, like on the helmet, pop out. So it looks like the wings are flying, the Eagles flying. So I think that was kind of dope. Like I said, the most unique ring that I've seen in a long time. Comments are down below. Section is open. If you have any comments, you think anything else, and any other ring that you feel might combat that, put it in the comments. Let me know. Now, you can do it now. You can do it later. But for me, it's the most unique ring I've seen in a very, very long time. All right. So with that, I think I'm going to skip back to the Eagles in a second and talk football because that's going to add a little bit more stuff because that season is coming up. The Sixers season is a little off, a little far away, but we do know there is a little bit of news. We have been talking free agency. We have also been talking about the rookies, the summer league, and all of that stuff. So I got a little bit to get to with one rookie, and then I'm going to talk some about one of our veterans, Chucky Lyons, my guy. Thanks for tuning in. Good time, good long time friend. I appreciate the support tuning in today. So the first thing I'm gonna get to, and I'm just gonna get to it right off the bat. All right, we know about the Joel Embiid situation. Of course, we know how last season started with the injuries, and we know with the Paul George situation, and then we know with the most recent Paul George situation again with the surgery, most recently not that long ago because of training, yada yada yada. We know all of that. All right, excuse me. Initial reports were out that Joel Embiid should be ready for training camp. All right, as recently as I'm going to say 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I heard some chatter, some rumblings, and I heard some reports that he has been working out. I'm still speaking of Joel. He has been working out, but he has not done any on-court basketball activity. So we know how this works. No basketball activity, right? We understand that. So it's in a small way for us Sixers fans, that is a maybe a glimmer of hope, or if you will. And the reason I say that is because the speculation is he'll be ready by training camp. He hasn't done any on-court work, so he hasn't been playing any basketball or anything like that. So it leads me to believe that he has finally decided to work on his body and rehab his injuries. Let that marinate for a second. All right, this is what I'm thinking. I don't have any proof that this is the case, truly or not, but this is what I'm thinking from what I'm hearing. All I'm doing for you all is taking what I'm hearing and dissecting it with my interpretation. All right, so that's what I'm thinking about that. Hasn't played any basketball. All right, and he to me, I'm hoping and I'm being optimistic that again he is working on his body, rehabbing, and doing the things he needs to do to get healthy, to be ready for training camp, and to be able to get on the court and do some on-court activity. The other problem with that, and this is just a problem with injuries and major injuries, and then you having surgeries at the time that he had surgery, is getting into, and I don't like saying this all the time, but I definitely understand it. It's going to take a little bit for him to get into basketball shape again. So we think about the situation, right, that way, and that's where you are up until now. So today, right before I come on air, I see some other reports, some other rumbling. I hear some other chatter. There's a couple things. Speculation of Embiid retiring. That one I'm taking with a couple grains of salt. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. I don't think that he's there yet. Doing the quick little bit of research I did after hearing that, some points were made by some other social media members, and they were saying, the speculation of why would he continue to play hurt or play in pain for $200 million, and it's not about the money, it's about this. And then they made the comparison to Andrew Luck, who suddenly retired from the NFL at 30. And he also brought up the point of what Andrew Luck said about that retirement at the age of 30. And he had an injury-riddled career, just like Joel Embiid has. But he said, Andrew Luck said, he got tired of going injury, surgery, rehab, injury, surgery, rehab, injury, surgery, rehab. He said it was mental hell, and he just couldn't do it anymore. Time. So, moving back to Joel Embiid and his situation, I'm not going to say that I think that that's out of the picture. I don't think it's right here in the near future. And the reason I say that is because of the amount of time, although it be a little bit, the amount of time we've seen him play hurt. Okay. Again, I have on a number of occasions praised him for playing hurt, wanting to be out there and try to help his team the best way that he can. Because we all know that basketball saying, your best ability is availability. So he's feeling like if he made himself available and he can just give whatever he can, he felt like he was helping the team. And I totally get that. I understand that. That is old school basketball, 80s, 90s basketball. If I can get out there and do something, those players were more rugged like that. If I can get out there and do something, they got out there and did something. They played through injuries. So for me, like I said, I think that the questioning about the injury or the speculation, not the injury, of retiring, I think is there. And of course, I understand it. Like I said, because of the injuries, because of the way the last few years have went, I can understand that, and I can understand that being a speculation. But I also watched him the last couple years. I've watched him pretty much his whole career. And again, like I said, I also, for one, have been praising him on occasion for playing through injuries or playing with injuries. Right? So again, I don't think that that speculation of retirement is out of the woods. I just don't think it's in the near future. I just think it's a little bit further down. All right. Other speculations are that he may never get back to that MVP year form. Well, for me, that's kind of a moot point, if you will. Anytime you have major injuries like he's had, and then especially with being a big, and the leg and feet injuries are always problems for bigs. All right. So with the injuries that he's had, yeah, he can get to be a force because he's Joel Embiid. We know that. We've seen it. But what I think the speculation was if you remember that MVP season, you remember how dominant he was. And this is saying that just because of the injuries and due to the injury and the strain and the wear and tear, that he probably won't be that dominant again. And I can understand that. I mean, I can agree with it. But again, it's not to say that he won't be dominant on occasion or he won't be dominant ever again. It's just the fact that it won't be that consistent and it won't be as, I guess, exaggerated as it was then. Again, due to the injuries, for me, totally understandable. And then there's another one speculation that says he may need another knee surgery. For me, as a fan and doing what I do here, that really doesn't surprise me. Because I was always one, and I said this, and I don't think he was close to it this time. I felt like you should have got that surgery sooner than later. So, like with the Jason Tatum situation when he tore his Achilles, he kind of took a page out of Kobe's book immediately. Once he found out what it was, bang, okay, schedule the surgery, let's get it done. And again, he's still going to be out for pretty much the entire season as well. But it's a difference in how you approach the situation. And for the Joel Embiid situation, I do lay a little fault on the Sixers medical staff because I think they went about it the wrong way. And again, I understand Joel Embiid could have very easily said to them, listen, if I can do a little bit, I want to do a little bit for my team. This is what I want to do. I know y'all the doctors, but this is what I want to do. And I get that. Again, it happens all the time in professional sports. I mean, the worst or the best and worst representation of it was the football movie with Jamie Foxx, the football team. I can't remember the movie right now. It's going to come to me in a second. All right. But in that movie, you saw the behind the scenes. You saw what the doctors allegedly did or reportedly did back then when those guys got injured and they had incentives and contracts, or teams needed to make a run to make the playoffs, or something, a specific play, needed to be made in a certain moment of a game. We see it all the time. Okay. Okay. We see it all the time. Any Given Sunday was the movie. See, I knew it would come to me. Any Given Sunday. And again, if you remember the movie, you know what part I'm talking about. If not, go see the movie or go get the movie. I'm sure you can find it on stream somewhere. Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino, LL Cool J's in it, Lawrence Taylor's in it, Jamie Foxx is in it. But when you get it, when you watch it, and you see what happens, you'll understand what I'm talking about right now a little bit. It'll be a little bit more clearer to you. Some people just have a way of things being more clear when they have a visual to go with some audio, and then they have some audio, and then they have some alternate video. So whatever, it'll clear things up for you if you see the movie. If you're a little confused at where I'm going with it right now, but like I said, he played in 18 games last year, and then he went on to play the Olympics, which I think was a mistake. I think that's where he should have had the surgery after he was done with the season when they shut him down. That surgery should have been scheduled like shortly after he was shut down from playing. But he had his thing. He wanted to play in the Olympics. Okay. He played played hurt. He won a gold medal. He came back. Now he's in the off season, right? And I'm sure he wants to get back on the court. I'm sure because three, Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George. I'm sure that they have talked. I'm sure they've spoken to each other, and I'm sure they believe that they can produce a better showing than what was displayed last season. Okay. Again, I'm not saying injuries really ruined it, but we know injuries ruined it, and I'm not making that an excuse. But I feel like those three have it in their minds that they can come back and possibly make some noise or turn some things around. Like I said, we've talked several weeks in a row about how the East is pretty much wide open. But again, for us right now, the state where the Sixers are, it's going to be the health. The health is going to be the biggest question. Like I can't, I can sit here and talk about the roster, how I like the roster, the makeup of the roster, a couple of new additions. Like I said, I love the rookies. A couple other free agent pickups I liked. I can sit here and talk about that like that till I'm blue in the face. But it really doesn't make any difference until the games begin to be played. And again, for us as a Sixers fan, as the Sixers team, it goes on how healthy we can stay. How long can we stay healthy? It's the biggest question for us. And I know people will come up with other questions and what are they going to do with this contract and that other little stuff is, that's pertinent news too as well. But from the outside looking in and doing what I do, biggest question for me right now is overall health of the team. Okay, that's the biggest thing for me. The overall health of the team. I can't talk enough about that because that's our biggest issue. It's been that way for a long time. I mean, we've been in this injury rut a couple of years. It's bit as before, but last year just really, really had a stranglehold on us very early. And the only thing that happened was that stranglehold just got tighter and tighter as the season went on. All right. So, moving right along, a little bit more Sixers talk, right? I want to talk a little bit about VJ. Of course, I feel like we made the correct pick in selecting VJ. He showed you some things during Summer League, that first debut game with the 28 points. We know that. Everyone is excited about that. And in the second game, he showed you some things he can do off the ball because he didn't score the ball well in the second game. But there are reports that a lot of NBA execs are very, very high on V J Edgecombe. Some anonymous speculations that in about a year or two, maybe three, he could be the second, third best Sixer on the roster. They say that he has a game that can step in and play in the NBA right now, step in and help the Sixers right now. I kind of agree with that because I see where he is determined and he's dedicated to playing both ends of the floor. So he's dedicated to playing the complete game. It's not just about the offense. And he can score in a number of ways. And of course, the scouting reports are going to say this, they're going to say that. I mean, again, we go into that situation that I talk about all the time, is transitioning into NBA. I think he can transition into the NBA very quickly. Like I said, I feel like he can play and help out immediately. I also feel like his IQ is high enough and he's cerebral enough to pick up things as they come. Right? I think he's going to be a quick learner. I think he's going to be really, really good for the Sixers. Right? So the last thing for the Sixers talk right now, the Quentin Grimes situation. We've been talking about this free agency thing for a little bit now. We know the early reports, the very, very early reports was Quentin Grimes was asking for $25 million a year. You're not worth that yet. Okay. Albeit your stats were phenomenal, so to speak, this year at the end of the season after being traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. But when you think about the grand scheme of things, and this is no discredit because he had the numbers, he did it. There's no issue there. But you have to take into consideration also the team that he played for and the direction that the team was going at the time. All right. So we can say somewhat that those stats were a little bit overblown. And again, I'm not discrediting what he did. I'm just speaking outside the box, outside the circle. Okay. It looks like, well, we see that there was no real heavy traffic for him in the free agent market. And again, remember, he is a restricted free agent. All right, so the Sixers didn't even offer the qualifying. They didn't even give the qualifying offer. The speculation now is that he'll come back to the Sixers with a slight raise for a 2-year deal starting at about $17 million a year. All right. He'll play that contract out and hopefully try and play himself into an extended long-term deal or explore free agency again to get another long-term deal, possibly somewhere else. But all the speculation is the start of training camp, start of the 25-26 season in the NBA. Quentin Grimes will be a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. And again, he is a restricted free agent, so he already is under contract. His thing was wanting a raise. But again, you can't get a raise that quickly. Again, like I said, we all know how those stats came about. Again, not discrediting what you did because you played and you got those stats, of course. Great job. Magnificent job. But you also have to take into consideration what the team was. Right? What the team was. Let's see. Ryder, I am. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the support. So you have to take into consideration what you are and what the team was then, right? I'm sorry, Rich, my guy. I forgot to mention you. So shout outs to my guy, Rich, who always tunes in. Good friend. Known that guy since high school, so really, really good friend as well. But yeah, you weren't worthy. You didn't warrant $25 million a year in that half a season. Okay. I feel like if you were warranted that, then you probably wouldn't have been traded. But who am I? I'm just a sports rap podcast host. That's all. Anyway. So, again, like I said, it looks like all the speculation is that he will return to the Philadelphia 76ers this year on a 2-year deal, right? So that's coming back with a raise on this current deal for this 1 year restricted and then another year added on. 2 years, like I said, starting at somewhere around maybe 17 mil a year, all right? So, once again, that is your Sixers news for right now. Training camp will be starting soon. So when training camp starts there, we'll get to that as well. But more importantly, you see the background. I know y'all see it. Y'all, folks on Instagram, y'all see the hat because it's different here. Whatever. But anyway, training camp has begun. The Eagles begin training camp to project the season to defend Super Bowl X title. Season opens September the 4th against the division rival Dallas Cowboys. And again, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. A lot of people, when the schedule came out, were like, oh, really? We get the Cowboys' first game of the season? I said, look at it this way. We are the world champs. Cowboys haven't done much over the past couple of years. The Eagles have pretty much left them in their rearview mirror. This way, you get to rub it in. Week 1, drop that banner. Beat the Cowboys. I don't remember what week it is that they play them again, but it's in the double digits. So in the middle of the season again somewhere, they got to ride with that the whole time. But more importantly, they got to ride with that the whole entire season of the Eagles being champs. Like I said last week, if you're an Eagles fan, anybody bothers you, gives you the you know what about the Eagles and saying whatever they say, you just let them know. You have to deal with us being the champions until February. Doesn't matter what happens during the regular season. You got to get through the playoffs. You got to get to February. And God forbid, even if the Eagles don't make the playoffs, you still got to live with it because it ain't nothing going to change until February. And that'll get them off your back. That'll get them to leave you alone because then they won't want to talk to you. All right. Right. I'm glad you like that, Ryder. They gotta respect it. I don't care how much you like it, disagree with it, whatever. And that's fine. You can do that. You can agree to disagree. You can agree to not discuss football with me. Whatever. But all I say is you have to live with it until February, until a new or repeat champion is crowned. And again, like I said, God forbid the Eagles don't, but God forbid they do. Boy, oh boy. The Eagles repeat as Super Bowl champions. They might get banned from the NFL. Or they might get an investigation coming from the NFL. We're hated so much. I mean, then it's like they would look at the track record. I'm just speculating here, but let's play this thing out. We play devil's advocate, play this thing out. Went to the Super Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. They're 1-1. If they go back and win again, they repeat. What do you think the NFL is going to do? Leave me some comments. Talk to me, fellas. Ryder, you're in here. Rich, you're in here. What do you think? What do you think the league would do if that happened? Right? And we all know how much hated the Eagles are and the Eagles fans are. We definitely know that. But just think about that. Nobody liked the Eagles winning. Well, no, I ain't gonna say nobody, but there were quite a few people that were like, the Eagles won. Yeah, we won again. Less that they were win the second when we won the first one, and now we got two. So, and I didn't talk about this a lot, but when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, if you look at, let's say, the last 15, 20 years, let's go 10, 15 years, right? Let's say 10, 15 years, right? Around that average, just to play devil's advocate again. In the two Super Bowls that the Eagles won, which is in that time frame, right? 10 to 15 years, pretty much, right? They beat, arguably, two of the best active quarterbacks at the time. They beat Tom Brady, and they beat Pat Mahomes. Let it marinate, people. Tom Brady, right now still arguably the GOAT, got beat by Nick Foles, a backup at that. The first one. Also in that season, and these are some of the reasons why I have asterisks about Tom Brady being the GOAT. But this is just me, so you don't have to agree with me, all right? We're not going to get into that back and forth great thing. But I always tell you, when I say things, I like to back them up. So what I was alluding to before I got a little sidetracked was, in that season that the Eagles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Let me see. Ryder Emma, he says, I respect all Philly teams. My second favorite city because it's similar to the city I am from, just bigger. Absolutely. What city might that be? Remind me, sir. But anyway, getting back to my point. The Eagles beat Tom Brady. And in that season, they beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Nick Foles came in during the Rams game and had to fill in for Carson Wentz, who at the time was looking like the Eagles franchise quarterback, right? He gets hurt, he goes down. He got somewhere in the season. He didn't finish the season out. But in that entire season, the amount of games that he played up until that point when he got injured in that Rams game, Tom Brady played that entire season. And we're just talking regular season because you couldn't count playoffs. Carson didn't play. But just counting that regular season, Carson Wentz's overall stats were still better than Tom Brady's in that regular season. When that regular season ended, be more. Okay. Well, I like a little bit of be more. I like the Harbor. Still don't think we talked last week. You should have been on last week. So I talked last week about the top 10 quarterbacks that were ranked, and I don't think Lamar should be above Jalen. Although Lamar has won, kudos to him because he has won 2 league MVPs. Jalen has not won a league MVP, but Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. So I think that ranks in today's game and the way they rank that Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP kind of trumps 2 league MVPs especially even if you haven't been to the Super Bowl. But I digress. Okay, apologies to you, but I digress. So yes, getting back to it. In that first Super Bowl, again, Carson Wentz's stats were better than Tom Brady's ending overall stats for that entire season. The regular season, don't get me wrong, just the regular season. And Carson Wentz did not play the entire season. All right. Then they make it through the playoffs, whatever. They get to the Super Bowl. Nick Foles carries them to the Super Bowl and wins the Super Bowl. All right. Moving forward, 2 of the last 3 years, most recently, the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl. Both times, opponent was Pat Mahomes, who now currently is arguably the best active quarterback in the league right now. Talked about that top 10 list. Appreciate you. Salute. Ryder I am. Salute. Appreciate you for that comment. Thank you for respecting the opinions. The problem is the quarterbacks that were ranked above Jalen Hurts. And see, I'm digressing. Quarterbacks ranked above him were, like, again, that list gets to me, it gets under my skin. So now I don't want to talk about that list. But moving forward, again, 2 of the last 3 years, Eagles have been to the Super Bowl. 1-1 against Pat Mahomes, arguably the best quarterback, currently active quarterback in the league right now. On that list again, he was number 1. So currently, best active quarterback in the league right now. First Super Bowl loss, 3-point loss. 35-38, 38-35, however you want to say it. All right, again, like I mentioned last week and I mentioned before, we can go back to that game because I can look at stuff right now as I'm talking to you and see stuff, and we can either nitpick and pick it apart. If this doesn't happen, then this might happen. If they don't miss this face mask, that pick 6 doesn't happen. Go through all of that. But right now it's a moot point because that's over. We can't go back to that game. All right, Eagles have a fall off season in between, bookended with another Super Bowl. All right, now we close that. We get to that other part of the sandwich with that second Super Bowl. Super Bowl licks. As we're going into that Super Bowl, when the Eagles found out who their opponent was, I knew they were determined. I knew they were determined to get back. But once they found out they were playing the Chiefs again, when I watched them in practices and when I watched them in interviews and prep for the Super Bowl, the demeanor came off to me as a team that had a chip on their shoulder, as a team that did not want to lose again to this team. And they went out and they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Second time. Jalen Hurts, great game, Super Bowl MVP. And you know, just to backtrack a little bit, arguably, Jalen Hurts played a better game than Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl loss. But again, then he turns around, he comes out this season, early season ranking, and he's ranked number 9. And again, like I said, those top 5 quarterbacks, when he played against them and completes the game, he's undefeated. Out of that top 5, and this is just the top 5, not the complete 8 that are ahead of him, but in that top 5, I think 2 in the top 5 have been to a Super Bowl. And that's Pat Mahomes and one other one. The only ones that have won a Super Bowl ahead of him, ranked ahead of him, were Pat Mahomes and Matt Stafford. So, I mean, you do the math. I told y'all how I felt last week. Y'all can go back. Y'all know where to find the video and look at it. I can get the audio too if you want on Spreaker, whatever, Spotify. But I told y'all how I felt, right? And I don't know what the issue, or for lack of another better word, what the thing is where there's so much, I'm back on this again, so much disrespect for Jalen Hurts. It's hard to pinpoint what it could be because you see this young man, and this is going to bring me into my next point, the evolution of Jalen Hurts, right? Where now it's been reported that he has been to events of teammates outside of football that he normally would not go to just because it's not what he did. But he has been to events with teammates. There's a situation I read when they talked about the evolution of Jalen Hurts, and there was an interviewer, it was a fan at a practice who yelled out something about a kid that he's working out, that he apparently was allegedly working out with a high school kid. Jalen Hurts and the security was like trying to get the guy away, push the guy off. Jalen Hurts was like, nah, went over and goes and talks to the guy. And then he tells this guy everything about this kid that he asked about. Like he even asked him, like, he even went to the extent to even know what colleges the kid might be looking to transfer to from the college that he's at, or what school he might be looking at to go to. I think it's a high school kid might be getting ready to go to college. So they're thinking about like what school he might go to. And Jalen Hurts knows all this information. So it kind of like dispels that rumor that floats around where big time athletes are mentoring kids or mentoring these youth, but it's just like for name's sake and for clicks and baits, if you will, and they're not really talking to the kids. They don't know. But Jalen Hurts has proved them wrong, where he knows the entire kid's rundown. Like I said, all the way to the point where he had to tell the gentleman, the coach, that he should be on the lookout because the kid is starting to pick colleges, and he knew what colleges the kid was starting to pick or whatever. So into the colleges, yeah. So listen, he just proved the point, dispelled all the rumors that this is something that I do, and this is what we're saying. This is the evolution of Jalen Hurts, and I think it's a good evolution. So again, as far as his play, this kid wins. This young man wins. So when you rank him at number 9, and you're supposed to be an NFL exec, a scout, and some players, I can get the hate from the players because he probably beat some of y'all. The scouts, I'm starting to question what you're looking at. And then the execs, starting to think it's a little animosity there because y'all didn't pick him. So, it all depends. And again, I don't think we'll ever figure out or we'll ever know what it is, why there's so much disrespect for Jalen Hurts and why there's so much disrespect for Philadelphia sports teams. It's just crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But nonetheless, the Eagles have Jahai Campbell in practice. He has been practicing. He is scheduled to participate in the first full pad practice, which is a good thing. The overall outlook right now for the Eagles, haven't heard about any injuries or anything like that. So things are looking good. Things are looking real good. I'm excited. Again, like I said, I'm excited about the season. The only thing that I'm slightly nervous about for the beginning of the season, and it's just a funny thing because of what we do here and what we do when certain teams are playing here. That first game of the season, we get to celebrate the raising or dropping of a new banner, World Championship banner, in the city of Philadelphia. We get to rub it in a division rival, overall rival, Dallas Cowboys. We get to rub it in their face. Very early, right from the gate, kick off the season. But I'm more concerned. It's just a little tidbit. I'm a little more concerned about the tailgating. If you plan on tailgating, be careful, be safe, be mindful of where you are, and be mindful that at some point you will have to go home. I don't know if you're going to just go tailgating or tailgate and go to the game, but that's a night game, and it's going to be chaos down there tailgating before that game. And I'm telling y'all all to be safe, be careful, and I'm going to take my own advice because, of course, you know I'm going to be down there somewhere. There's no way I'm missing that. Dallas Cowboys game, can't miss a Cowboys game. But let alone dropping the banner, championship, and we get to rub it in the Cowboys' face. I can't miss that. There's no way I missed that. There's no way. There's no way I missed that. So wish me luck as I wish you guys luck. I'm going to say a prayer for all of you. You all say a prayer for me when that time comes. All right, September the 4th. It's a night game. So that means the parking lot's going to be open early. Listen, it's so crazy. You're going to have people having happy hour down there. Happy hour is going to start some people's tailgates if they don't start before that. Well, we know people are going to start before that. But some people are going to be happy houring down there at the tailgate. Some people are going to be going straight from work to tailgate, straight from work to the game, to the festivities. I see it already. And again, like I said, I'm going to be down there in the crazy. So, when you see me, if you see me, holler at me. Come take a picture with me. Come tell me you're there. All right? Let me know that you are being safe, and I'll let you know that I'm being safe. And we're going to have a great time. All right? We're going to enjoy some fun, some festivities. We're going to heckle some Cowboy fans that we know will be down there. Give them the business. Go on with the game. Raise that banner. Drop that banner. Celebrate. Start the season 1-0. The only other thing I don't like about the Eagles season is, for some strange reason, some more hate for Philadelphia teams, the Eagles don't have consecutive home games at all this season. So it's like a home game, then a road game, then there might be another home game, and then 2 or 3 road games, which I think is insane. But, again, like I said, they know. And they're probably thinking the same way. And this I'm talking about the league. If the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl and repeat, league's in trouble. Might be some sanctions, might be some investigations coming. I'm just saying. Because I know how the league thinks about the Philadelphia Eagles. I know how they think. All right. Howie Roseman, arguably one of the best GMs to ever do it, did it for us again. So, people, I thank you all for tuning in today. Some great conversation, some great dialogue. Ryder I am, my guy, _ thanks for tuning in from Baltimore. Best of luck for you and the Ravens throughout the season. I'm sure we'll probably talk more throughout the season. My guy, Rad211. Rad, my guy, Rich, thank you for tuning in. Chucky Lyons, my guy, good friend. And my podcast friend, Mikey on Mute podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody else that tuned in, you all know where you can find me, right? All right, I'm going to give y'all that in a second. Before I close out, Monday night games, we still got some sports stuff, right? Got some 2 WNBA games on the slate. 2 WNBA games on the slate. The Storm and the Sun and the Liberty and the Wings. Monday, Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays and the A's, the Rockies and the Guardians, D-backs and the Tigers, the Rays and the Yankees, Dodgers and the Reds. The Phillies are in Chi to face the White Sox. The Braves and the Royals, the Mariners, and the Orioles, I believe. The Cubs and the Brewers, the Red Sox and the Twins, the Marlins and the Cardinals, the Nationals and the Astros, the Rangers, Angels, Mets, Padres, Pirates, Giants. Folks, again, like I was beginning to say, you all know where to find me. Each and every Monday right here, heat100radio.airtime.pro is the link. And also Instagram at SportsRapCEO. You can also, after today, once I get up, looking probably like Tuesday or Wednesday, you can get this all on Spotify and up on YouTube. In the meantime and in between time, you can also get over to their YouTube channel. Make sure you do the 3 rules. You get over there, you subscribe to the channel. You hit the thumbs up on the videos that you like, and then you hit that bell so you'll be notified when new content is up. Also, check out the website, sportsrapradio.com. All right, maybe the first time you type it in, it may say Sports Rap Radio Show. Take the show out. It's just sportsrapradio.com. Also, check out that Patreon page. All right, Heat 100 Radio, Patreon/Heat100Radio.com. All right, or Heat100Radio/Patreon.com. You figure it out. $4 membership. You can get exclusive contests over there, exclusive short videos over there, and all of that stuff. All right. I will see you all week on social media, talk to you as well. Be great on purpose, and I'll see you right back here next Monday in studio. Peace.